We have the first review of 2026. I started with Nothing Follows by Felker. This is a little novella. Might as well kick off the year with something very easy and short. This follows Mia and her friends. They go into the woods to celebrate her 18th birthday, and it seems like the woods might be a little haunted. It's hard to always talk about novellas because they're so short, so it's like you gotta skirt around things to talk about aspects of it without spoilers. So I'll do my best, especially when it comes to my criticisms, because my criticisms are very, very specific. So I have to go very, very vague about them. But overall, I did like this. I would recommend it if you are looking for a little novella. And hey, cool cover. If you want cool covers in your bookshelf, get a physical copy. So this author's third published work, but their first horror, I believe. Their first one or two, not like full length novels, are dark romance, and some of those skills from that definitely translate to this because there's some romance involved, some complicated relationships regarding some of the characters, and it's really engaging. I really like the characters. I like their dynamics. Things get a little messy and a bit complicated regarding these things, and she does a great job of really fleshing out and making me really understand some of this complex history between Mia and two other characters in the book. The scares are really good. I really like that she uses some different techniques, some body horror, some stuff that's a little gross, some violence, some just like, oh, what the leaves are rustling, in the distance. What is that? Is there something out there? Like those little things to build up some mystery. Thematically, the book tackles some really heavy subjects, both in terms of relationships, but also trauma. I think most of it is tackled really well. I think some of it is fully explored throughout the 97 pages, particularly the relationship stuff. There's some things, particularly one thing that's really a heavy, big subject to tackle that someone would experience that's awful and so traumatic, and it's just not given the space to be fully explored. And I think the arc for Mia in some spaces is fully explored and feels complete. Others, I'm like, we needed another like 10 to 20 pages or so to fully explore those things. And properly, when you end the story, everything feels wrapped up, thematically speaking. And regarding the big reveal of what's actually happening, I like it. It's very fresh. There's a bit of a mythology to it, although there's two questionable elements to it, one of which could have been easily explained if there was just like even a paragraph early on before that this thing ends up being revealed that a character discovers. I just feel like there was like a missing scene way earlier in the book, like somewhere in the middle, that was just not there. And just some elements to it and regarding the characters' reactions I wasn't fully sold on, but those are some of my gripes. I still think this was a very good novella with some very familiar tropes being played on. If you liked This Wretched Valley regarding like haunted woods type of deal, this definitely plays in that area and I think does it in a way that feels original and interesting with such strong character work and strong relationships that I think it makes up for most of the issues, although I'm still a little hung up on some of the thematic issues. But I really liked this. I'm looking forward to what she does next, particularly in the horror space. I would love to read a full length horror novel by this author. Let me know. You gonna pick up Nothing Follows? And also, what are you starting 2026 with regarding what you're reading? For me, you can read my book Unfold. It's out now, so go order that. Amazon, Barnes& and Noble, but also if you order from my publisher, Phoenix Voices Publishing, that gets me more money, but also you support a small business instead of giving your money over to Amazon. And Sundays I post on my Substack, so you can go follow that also.